If you're in the middle between who you've always been and who you are becoming, then this channel just might be for you. Okay, so what I'm learning and what I'm learning to do, like what I want to do is I want to opt out of autopilot. Like, it's like following a script a little bit where it's like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Even though you're not. When a person says, you find the groceries okay? Yeah, I did. I found all of them okay. And then for 45 seconds, y'all don't talk and they ring you up and then you leave. It's like, I learned like the connections aren't deep like that, and I love deep conversations, deep connection, talking to people, getting to know people, hearing their stories. And I think that the script that we're all following, the oh I'm fine and all this other stuff, how are you, it doesn't lead to a deep connection at all. Like it doesn't. And I'm not following it no more. I'm just done. Something I think I said in the last video where the guy asked the woman, how are you breathing? And it interrupted her script. She didn't even know how to answer the question. She's like, because he wasn't following the script anymore. Now it takes you to think. Now it takes for you to opt out too. And then he's inviting you outside of the script for you to take the invitation or not take the invitation. For you to be like, I don't know, or for you to stop and say, I'm doing a video, baby. Or for you to stop and say, I don't know what he wanted, or for you to stop and say, to accept the invitation or not accept the invitation. You could say, I don't know, or you can stop to say, I don't know, I guess I'm breathing fine. And then maybe he can pull you in more for a more deeper conversation. But I just think like about me doing it. And I'd rather have a deeper conversation and connection with people than to follow the script and not have that, like a question I want to ask girls and ladies is like, how is your heart? See if anything's on your heart, see if anything's going on with you, and really communicate that, to invite them to a conversation where they can just be vulnerable and really speak to me if they want to. They may not, but I know I'm not. I'm inviting them, and when it comes to like invitations, you only have control of what you do, nobody else. But I don't want to follow the script anymore. That's not my stuff. My stuff is not your stuff, what you do or react to me, but my stuff is how I choose to respond and what I choose to participate in. And I don't want to participate in that. So I'm choosing to opt out when it comes to just autopilot. That's something is very much where I want to go forward to. I'm trying to see what else I have for my notes. Yeah, I think that's it though. But I just really want to help people also step out of autopilot too and invite them to a conversation, a real one. I'm a kind of person, I love deep conversations. I love when people go deep. And I notice like something too is like sometimes we as humans, like I learned like people will gossip just to get away from their own problems. Like I remember I met this woman and I was getting this tree right here. I was buying it from her. And me and her was talking. I was telling her about me being a relationship coach. We were just talking about so much stuff. I mean, she was older than me. We were talking about so much. And she was like, me and my husband, we watch, it was some kind of show for couples. I don't know, like Love Island or, I don't know, 90 Day Fiance or something like that. One of those shows. And she was like, yeah, we watch the show and we don't like this and this person, this and this. But I noticed that we only connect on that level with each other. Because it's easier to look at somebody else's problems and judge it than our own and really fix our own problems. I think that's very true in a lot of aspects of our lives as people, of being human beings. That it's so much easier to be on autopilot so we could take a moment away from our real issues, our real stuff. And like when people talk about people, I think that's the same thing too, is that when you hear noises, just know I'm a human being and that I live with them too, tiny ones. Is that, when we try to hide that part or like try not to touch certain parts of our situation, like we'll do that gossip stuff. We'll talk about people and talk about certain things just so we can run away, even just for a second, even if it's just for a moment, from the actual problems that we have within ourselves that we got to deal with. It's like, and that's something I'm learning too, is like I'm learning how to get out of that circle of gossiping with other women. I try to learn instead, like, how do I input something else, something more cleaner, freer, better, Like, I know the woman I want to become, and I wrote this down too, where I want to become a woman that has fruitful conversations. I want fruit to come out of all my conversations. I want it to be fruitful, not even just for that person, but also for me, to get something out of this conversation, some kind of connection, just something, be fruitful and to be nurturing and to be very much like a breath of fresh air sometimes, you know, to be more depth and connection and honestly honest. I think that we're not touching it. You know, when I go to work, of course, you know, comes relationships and stuff, but like when I am around other people or have conversations on the phone, like I'll try to go in depth sometimes and they always want to talk about people. And I am learning, like, trying to how to get out of that, you know, because back in the day, how I got out of it was I was funny. I'm a very funny person, you guys, so you know. And I would make everybody laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. But I'm stepping out of that. And I am becoming a more woman that is not so much more serious. Well, that is what I'm tapping into. It's more being myself. You know, I'm not always laughing. I'm not always happy. I am a human being. I'm limited. I am limited. And I have feelings. And sometimes I'm happy. Sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes I'm frustrated. Sometimes I'm upset. You know, I'm human. And it's okay to show all those sides, not just the funny ones that make people feel comfortable and make them laugh and smile. Like I told you, I have been a people pleaser before. So for me, when people are happy, I feel the most regulated. And people are sad or a certain ways, even sadness sometimes can like get me to be like, oh, I'm so, you know, oh my goodness, you know, and I want to change it or help it out any way I can. But for sure, like, happiness is what I love everybody to feel around me. It doesn't dysregulate me. And when people talk about somebody around me, I'm trying to really get into the point where instead of using funniness and happiness, I use honesty to get them out of the loop of gossiping with me. You know, they talk about somebody, my sisters, my family, whatever. I try to say, like, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I've struggled with that too, so I don't really know. I will say, you know, praying for her, you know, or, you know, what do you think about that? Have you ever struggled with that? But sometimes what I've noticed is that it doesn't invite conversation. Like, that doesn't work most of the times in my family or my friends. They just keep going, you know? And so I'm kind of learning still, how do I stop inviting the gossip, kind of stop it at, halt it, and like I validate them. I try to reflect conversations with them. But, and like, be honest, like, we can be real here, because it's safe. It's very safe. I like to gossip, you know? A part of me likes to gossip still. And so I'm still working on that part. So when they come and give me that, it's like, I think of like my transformation as like a garden. And I fed this garden for so long. So when they come, and now I'm trying to stop feeding it, when they come and they gossip, I'm like, you're feeding some sun and water on my garden, and I'm trying to get out of here, you know? And like, I'm not always strong enough to be like, I'm not gonna gossip. Sometimes I'm like, girl, but what did she say after that? And then what did she do? But why would she ever do that? That's silly. You know what I mean? But I am trying to get out of that and trying to like find ways to get them out of that gossip and like honestly let them still feel validated in the conversation. Like, I'll validate them and be reflective, like how I do with my couples. But like I said, perro, I do like doing it too, you know. So I'm still working on that with myself when it comes to gossiping and stuff like that, and doing that and getting people out of autopilot with me to be thinking that's okay to even come to me with that kind of stuff. Get out of my script and stop gossiping right now, because I just want every conversation I have to be fruitful and to be so good and juicy and delicious, but honestly transformational sometimes, like inwardly. And you know, I feel like a part of me, like recently, I think that part of me has like kind of dwindled down, because like when I said that and I was like following that, like I had my thing wrote down of women I want to be, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I swear to you, every conversation I was having was that. And like lately it has not been, but I will say this, I haven't been reading it. So maybe a part of me has to read it. Maybe I have to start reading my paper again of the woman I'm trying to become. Just for a gentle reminder with myself, like this is who you're going towards. You know what I mean? Just water this garden, because like every conversation I was having, like even when people would talk mess about people, I would do that. And I swear to you, conversations were so fruitful and they were so juicy and yummy, and like I love deep conversations. And the conversation will start with one thing and end in a whole other thing. Like it was so good that somebody got my number. Like two people wanted my number, two ladies, and it was so good and juicy and like not toxic, that they were like, oh my gosh, like, and I was inviting them to femininity, inviting them to slow down, and honestly inviting them to just, it's okay to feel. And it was so much other more. It was, I mean, when I say we talked for so long, it was so good. And it started off talking mess about somebody for her, but it ended up with her being like, can I get your number? Like, oh my gosh, you know. And the other girl saying thing too, where she was like, I need somebody like you in my life. Oh my goodness, yes. And it was just so fruitful. And so like for me too, like conversations like that, that where a person starts telling their shortcomings and I saying mine, and we're going back and forth, and also figuring out how we got better with this, and sometimes we didn't get better with this, and where the root is and we're learning it. It inspires me to grow more and to stay on the path that I am, you know. But it's just so juicy, and that's why I want to get out of gossiping. Not only is it not fruitful, and I think it's toxic, but I think also too, the faces of a person who I'm talking about. Like let's say that person I'm talking about is right there, metaphor, like in my head. I'm like, they would be so hurt if they heard this stuff, and I got the nerve to entertain it, you know. Even if I don't say anything bad, it doesn't matter, because I know if that was me and somebody was doing that, I would want whoever loved me, saying they love me so much, to stop and say, you know what, pray for her. I don't know, you know, or whatever, not to join it. And I think like, you know, one thing was years ago, me and my husband were going back and forth and stuff like that, and we were experiencing sour batch lemonade. To me, I don't like saying arguments. I say sour batches we make. And so this is a really long time ago, because his dad moved like 4 or 5 years ago. But when he was here, probably like 6 years ago or whatever, it's like before I was relationship coach, all that. We were making sour batch lemonade, and I was making it more sour with my sour lemonade I was doing, and he was too. And his dad pulled us aside and he prayed for us. And I know it's not a big thing, but it is to me. In my family, what we would do is we would be like, you know, I don't know, or be there, talk to you, and then we would tell your business. My dad's done it. My mom done did it. Wait, let me take it back. See, yes, I'm going too fast. You're okay. Take your time. My dad is like that. He's a very big gossiper, like even about us and our family. He was a lot. I don't know if he's that recently, because I haven't really, you know, I have a really close relationship with him. That's a whole other story. I'll tell y'all later. But that's how my family is. We gossip about each other. And so when it's like about our relationships, our marriages, or whatever, there has not been one person, even though everybody loves, you know, God and stuff, there has not been nobody in my family to stop and say, wait, I may not know what to say to you. I may not know what I'm doing. I may not know anything about relationships, you know. Mind you, his dad didn't even have a girl, nothing. But I can pray for you. And he stopped and he said, I don't want you guys to ever give up on each other. You know, you guys got something here. You got 2 kids, da, da, da. And he prayed for us for a long time. And I was like, whoa. Like that whole thing transformed the way I thought about a lot of stuff. And he never spoke about that to like my husband's sister or family members, nothing. He let it be what it was between us. He's always kept it between, like, whatever. He's always kept it between us. Even when we were crazy toxic for each other, it's like he was like, no, like, I'm not telling your business, like, no. And I had never experienced that. And I would think just like that experience was so transformative to me. I try to give that to other people, you know, instead of telling their business or whatever when they come to me, to give that with them. But I also want to give that to people that's gossiping, if that makes sense. Like, instead of us gossiping about this person, let's pray for them. But it's like, a part of me wants to know their business a little bit. But a part of me, too, wants to, like, how can we help them at the end of this? You know, and sometimes the end of it when you gossip is never good. Like, for me, it's not good. It's not like an end of it we're like, yeah, you know what? Let's go send her some flowers if she's feeling. Let's do this. It's always like, you know, she's so stupid. She's dumb. Who does that? Ugh, you know, and it's like we feeling worse. But now I'm feeling worse about her than I did before. You know, so Yeah, trying to get out of those two things right now, gossiping and stuff. And I think like I can't entertain those conversations because like when I was being that girl that I was going towards the fruitful conversations and all that stuff, I was leaving these conversations feeling so, my heart was so full of not only kindness but like so full of just fruit. Like, oh my gosh, this girl just poured into me. I just poured into this person. Like, I just, their cup is filled up, my cup is filled up, we're feeling good. And I don't feel good leaving a gossip conversation. I feel like it's just useless. What did we learn here? What did we do? But hurt somebody. Because if that person was there, they would be hurt. I just hurt you. That's all I did. Yay, that's so fun. I just don't want to be in that anymore. So, yeah, that's what I'm learning. That's what I'm growing with. Okay. You guys have a great day. I love you so much. If nobody's told you that today, you just heard it from me. Okay? And don't forget to be kind to yourself. I love you so much. Have a great day. Mwah.